This video is not for kids. This may contain cussing, suggestive themes, and or triggering topics. Anything said in this video is alleged and not to be taken seriously. This video nor channel does not promote or encourage illegal activities. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is as use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit educational or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. And warning again, the following images and or content may be disturbing to some viewers. Viewer discretion is strongly advised.
Hello all, welcome to KISHA'S Gossips and Truths, and in this video I will be talking about the third set of liars. Who would make this list? I wonder. You all remember when Britney Spears came onto the scene and the PR was telling the media that she was a virgin. Heck, she was even labeled as America's sexiest virgin. This lie carried on for years and it made her very famous, and the pervs loved it. Well, Justin Timberlake exposed her for that lie. Well, among the breakup and all the controversy that surrounded that, like the video Timberlake did about Britney. But the apparent hurt Timberlake perceived in an interview while Timberlake was promoting his Justified album, he also admitted some very intimate details. Like I said, Britney publicly proclaimed her chastity years ago in the early parts of her career. It seemed during a New York radio interview he admitted to having oral sex with Spears, and during his 2020 tell-all he blatantly hinted that the two have had intercourse. Then he hinted again details in a magazine cover story, whereas Timberlake took more shots at Spears' career choices, saying if she had a clue she wouldn't have made Crossroads. So he was bitter, and judging from leaked sources, Timberlake is good at what he does, if you know what I mean. You all remember Watergate and the summer before President Richard Nixon's successful re-election to second term. 5 men were caught breaking into the Democratic National Committee headquarters house in the Watergate Hotel. As details emerged over the next year, it became clear that the officials close to the Nixon gave the orders to the burglars, perhaps, to plant wiretaps on the phones there. The question soon became about whether Nixon knew of, covered up, or even ordered the break-in. In response and mounting suspicion, Nixon denied allegations that he knew anything in front of 400 Associated Press editors, famously proclaimed, "I am not a crook." He was talking about whether he had ever profited from public service, but that no one, quote, came to represent his entire political career. It was a lie that came back to haunt him. When it was revealed that private White House conversations about the matter were recorded, the investigative committee subpoenaed the Nixon tapes. Refusal on the basis of executive privilege brought the matter to the U.S. Supreme Court, which ruled that he had to relinquish the tapes. The tapes were exactly the smoking gun needed to implicate Nixon in the cover-up of the scandal. They revealed that he obviously knew more about the matter than he claimed. Upon the initiation of the impeachment proceedings, Nixon gave up and resigned from office. The scandal left a lasting scar on the American political scene and helped usher Washington outsider Jimmy Carter into presidency a few years later. Oh yes. Tiger Woods, you all may remember the news of Tiger cheating on his ex-wife Elaine Nordegren, who had chased him out of the house with a golf club after learning he'd been unfaithful. She thought there was another woman, maybe even 2 or more. Nordegren, along with the rest of the world, had no idea in the years since details have trickled out about what really happened that night. It seems that the Inquirer was freshly slotted in the checkout racks. I mean, people were snatching it up like hotcakes, baby. Especially when the banner headline read Tiger Woods cheating scandal. Inside was a spread detailing Woods' months-long affair with a New York City nightclub hostess named Raquel Uchito, who had been photographed checking into the same hotel as Woods during the Australian Masters and was quoted as telling a friend, "It's Tiger Woods. I don't care about his wife. We're in love." Oh, and there's more. Sources close to Nordegren later told the Daily Beast that On November 24th, 2013, one day before the Inquirer hit stands, Woods put his wife on the phone with Yuchiro, may have mispronounced these young ladies' names, sorry about that, who insisted there was no truth to the intimate story. Nordegren and Yuchiro spoke for 30 minutes. Woods was satisfied. Nordegren was not. That afternoon, Woods left his cell phone unattended. Nordegren scrolled through his call history. She found another name, Jamie Grubbs, and called her. Nordegren got voicemail. She left a message. You know who this is, Nordegren said, because you are my husband. Nordegren didn't tell Woods though, and when he retrieved his phone, he too called Grubbs. Oh yes. His call also went to voicemail, and this is what was said apparently. How the Inquirer knows this, I have no freaking idea. But anyway, Woods said this. Hey, it's Tyga, he said. Can you please take your name off your phone? My wife ran through my phone and maybe calling you. So if you can, please take your name off that. And just have it as a number on the voicemail. Okay? You got to do this for me. Huge. Quickly. Alright? Bye. Then over the next 2 days, Nordegren said nothing. But she read the Inquirer story and was shaken by the detail. Her husband had met Yuchiro in June, 4 months after the birth of their son, at a club in New York City. Yuchiro, who appeared on the front page of the Post after her fiance was killed, had an affair. Yuchiro's pet name for Woods was Bear. She shown friends claimed sex messages. The Wood had claimed he was getting divorced and all that kind of stuff. Oh yes. Then on Thanksgiving night, after Woods had an insomniac, took an Ambien and fell asleep, Nordegren took his phone again and scrolled for Yuchiro's number again and found the text from her husband. You are the only one I ever loved. And then at 1 a.m. on Friday, and Nordegren, described by friends as an exceptionally controlled person, thought for a moment, how could she be sure to catch her husband in this lie? You see, she wanted out of the marriage and wanted a huge payout. With that, she began texting Yuchiro as Woods.
I miss you, Nordegren wrote. When are we seeing each other again? Yuchiro replied immediately, expressing surprise that Woods was up. Nordegren called Yuchiro immediately. I knew it was you, she said. I know everything. Oh, FK, Yuchiro said. She hung up.
So then, Nordegren, screaming, woke up Woods. He was woozy, but he grabbed his phone and ran to the bathroom, locking himself and texting Yuchiro. She knows, he wrote. I'm going to be packing. He told her it looks like divorce. Nordegren was yelling at Woods, demanding for him to come out the bathroom. When he emerged minutes later, she swiped his cell phone, took one look at his last sent message, divorce, and exploded. She threw it at Woods, chipping his tooth. She pummeled his chest and scratched his face. He wrestled himself away, and Nordegren reached for the nearest weapon and golf club. Remember, she just had a baby, so she could be suffering from postpartum depression and psychosis, judging from this. And she began chasing him. Woods tore out of the house barefoot and leaned in hot pursuit. There were shouts, yelling, waking up the neighbors. You ruined our Thanksgiving, Woods yelled. Still running, are you happy now? Woods then hopped in his 2009 Escalade. She dashed to the golf cart. That was about 2:25 a.m. All of this was happening. Upon pulling out of the driveway at 30 miles per hour, crushed some hedges, careened into a curb, and then hit a fire hydrant before smashing into a tree. He wound up in the street unconscious, bloody, and snoring. A neighboring couple ran over, and there was Nordegren with the golf club, with 2 smashed windows. Help us, she said. So Woods was knocked out for 6 minutes upon the neighbor calling 911. According to Windermere Police Chief Daniel Saylor, officers found Nordegren frantic and upset. Meanwhile, Woods was still on the ground, but now he had a pillow and a blanket. He was sliding in and out of consciousness with cuts to his lips, blood pooling in his mouth. He tried to talk but made no sense. He also supposedly had taken Vicodin upon his wife beating him to death. Meanwhile, waiting for an ambulance, Nordegren lies to police and said that it was a simple car accident and she was in the mansion when she heard the crash. That is when she ran out, got in her golf cart, and realized it was her husband in the car. And she used the golf club to extricate him. You see, the cop seems skeptical and didn't believe anything she said because she supposedly got Woods out and laid him on the ground. I mean, dude is 6'1", 185 pounds. Nordegren is 5'10" and 135 pounds. Lies. Oh, I'm not done yet. When the ambulance arrived, Nordegren ran back inside to get socks and shoes for Woods when she tried to ride with him later and the paramedic, but they blocked her. The police report says she was told this looked like a domestic disturbance. Woods' condition was listed as serious. Oh, and the victim was Woods, not her. Moving along here. It was later learned that Woods had a bimbo in every port. It seems that Uchito hired Gloria Allard as the scandal blew up and scheduled later a press conference. It was later canceled. Reports circulated that Woods had paid her $10 million to keep quiet for that press conference to make him look bad. Oh yes, his wife was ready to socially crucify him. So as this scandal got leaked, suddenly reports of porn stars and strippers and escorts and party girls and so on who said they had sex with Tyga. But as increasingly astonished public learned, Woods also was really cheap, only ever buying all of his mistresses a Subway sandwich. The list goes on. And after his wife was through with him, he lost endorsements with Nike, Gatorade, plenty. And then later, alone earning him between $10 million and $15 million a year. He announced he was taking a leave from golf and then pulled out of the Chevron World Challenge. He later entered rehab for sex addiction. The crazed wife Nordegren, who rumored to have paid most of these women to lie and then use the time to renegotiate her prenup conveniently and mulled her marriage. The day after the accident, Woods had reportedly told that Nordegren had gone ghetto on him and that he needed to run to Zales and get a Kobe special. A house on a finger, referring to the caught cheating scandal, NBA star Kobe Bryant's gift to his wife. You remember he gave her that big ass rock? Meanwhile, Woods' golf game fell apart and his career was never fully recovered. He now earns about $54 million in endorsements, half of what he made pre-scandal. Well, according to Forbes, that is. You all remember when Tyga? He claimed he lived in a well-to-do area of the valley. Well, Tyga claimed to have meant that he was really referring to a short period of the time in his life during which he just so happened to tape the game show segment, saying how he grew up in the valley with wealthy parents and they had a Range Rover and they was doing it. Take a look.
Busters are not allowed.
Yo, what it is, MTV, it's your boy Tyga, aka one of the greatest.
Tyga, I got this name when I was young. My mom used to say I looked like Tiger Woods. I just stuck with that. Grew up, not too tough. Parents got a Range Rover, CL600, doing it big. Not too much hard, but I'm still street. Yeah, it's TYGA. They say I'm not hood because I stay in the valley. They say I never been in the alley. I tell them cats, I've been in the alley. 22s on the truck, living it up. Name that grill. How many teeth do you need to see before you can make an ID? Tyga!
I think I can name that in DELUXE, man.
You got it too. Tyga, name that grill.
I'm pretty sure that's Big Gift.
Big gift. That's a big no.
Name that grill. It's like, I'm not on dudes mop anyway, you know what I'm saying? I'm all about the ladies, so, holla at me ladies, after the show, whatever.
This game right here is called Roof Front. Some of these flowers shall be wearing some genuine merchandise, and some will be front wearing the knockoffs. I mean Rolex. It's got that 5.25 carats of ice.
The Rolex, I knew it was real by the clarity of the diamonds. It was real. It was real.
Okay, so you tell me, D, is it for real or for fake?
I'm always for real.
We got the special effect green screen right here, man. And this is gonna put you right into action with what we got cracking with the plasma. Let's get our first one up. Tyga!
We need some females up here.
You need some females?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? You gotta be a baller to get the females. Let's see his moves. Let me tell you right now, when it lands on something, it will be an envelope. The words that are in these envelopes, they're gonna be exactly what you gotta freestyle about, okay? Tyga, spin it, spin it.
God's gift. God's gift tatted on my knuckles, basically, because I believe I'm God's gift.
These are y'all envelopes. Now, when the spotlight goes on your freestyle using the words that are in these envelopes, let's get this cracking. Give it up for my boy, Tyga!
Yeah. Let's do this. Yeah, look. I come through and I give Nate that pressure. It's like the sumo wrestler challenging a basketball player. I'm a player, don't hate a player. Hate the game. I'm T.Y. Fly Guy. Who you supposed to be? I was just chilling in the CPT with my NPC.
I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm sick when it comes to this rapping, dog. You can't see me. I spit 6 flute. And you can't get with me lyrically, physically, mentally, spiritually. It's like, look, people do whatever for the fame, act a little different when they get it, but they money the same. For me, both. I ain't even tripping, had no me, both. I got the 6 flow.
Yes, you see, the sudden confession coming after T-Raw spilled Tyga was really from Compton, and his stunt in the Valley was only temporary. Oh, yes. I swear, this girl is always on this freaking list. As we all know, Beyonce has been known as one of the most dishonest singers in the music business. And even today, almost 25 years later into her career, the lies continued like clockwork. Oh yes. One of B's batch of bullshit comes from her I Am World tour. We're going back. DVD and television special. Whereas the superstar officially called the DVD her directorial debut with official press releases solely naming her as producer, editor, and director, she claimed. She even told Extra that it took her 9 months to edit, and then told Nightline Cynthia's McFadden that the only help she had was somebody who knew how to use Final Cut Pro, though she claimed she could still do the Final Cut Pro by herself. Okay. I guess Beyonce may have been busy telling the world about her incredible skills as a director, but it turns out she wasn't the only one directing in the DVD. Her, and listen carefully, her choreographer and creative director, Frank Gatson, you remember that name? As well as Ed Burt, remember that name? Also had a hand in creating it. Oh yes. This is what Frank Gatson said. First of all, I must say that I have been so thankful for the success of the I Am World Tour DVD to co-direct that body of work along with Beyonce and Ed Burke. Gatson told the Grape Juice in an interview. Oh yes, he probably got in trouble for that truth. So, how much did Beyonce actually even do herself? I wonder. You see, this isn't the first time that Beyonce has been caught taking sole credit for other people's work, okay? She's often been busted contributing one letter or word to a song. You guys may have heard this through the grapevine. With no changes to the production or the arrangement, she does this in order to gain writing credit. Only then claims she wrote the damn thing entirely herself. Remember, Neo busted her out. One hilarious incident was when her Dreamgirl song Listen had been disqualified from Academy Awards when the awards executive committee learned that there were too many co-writers on the track and that Beyonce had contributed the least amount to the song out of everyone. Oh yes, that's why she didn't get that award. Oh, I'm still not done yet. Going back to the I Am World Tour. That again holds another example of Beyonce's deceitful ways. You see, one key feature of the DVD is that it not only follows Beyonce on tour, remember this, but also follow her as she treks around the globe, learning about different cultures and exploring exotic locals, you see. Beautiful. One instance featured the singer making her way through a pyramid in Egypt. Oh, beautiful. And then spontaneously, she bursted into a rendition of her song, Ave Maria. It's an experience that touched the singer deeply, she says, and the viewers. Yes. Well, she'd like us to believe that anyway. I say that because she said that. This time I can appreciate how incredible this is and the history, and I tried to live in the moment. I felt like it was important to go and see the pyramids. It was absolutely spiritual, unbelievable, and it just shows human ability and power. I felt like I'm not worthy. I shouldn't be in this pyramid. This is amazing, and it's really beautiful because I was able to go to the top and sing. She told this to Nightline when speaking of her Egyptian escapades and this beautiful experience. Well, guess what? It was just a freaking publicity stunt because back in November of 2009 when Beyonce was actually in Egypt, it was arranged that the country's leading Egyptologist, Zahi Hawass, may I mispronounce his name, would show her around. Here's what he had to say to a local newspaper when questioned about his experience with the superstar. Listen carefully.
I showed her the Sphinx and I gave her a book on King Tutankhamun. She's a stupid person and she doesn't understand a thing and she doesn't want to understand. She's coming here to take pictures and that's it.
Yes, this is what he said, and he's not the first person to have said this. Plenty of people have said this. You see, a year later, Hawass commented again about Beyonce just wanting to take pictures and film for her DVD. She didn't even care about the history. You see, this makes a lot more sense with the release of her tour DVD and television special, Ching Ching Ching. It's just too bad that Beyonce only seems to enjoy learning about different cultures when it can be used to help her sell her next album or concert special. Aside from that, she really doesn't give a damn about the places she visits. And you all know that Beyonce was caught lying before by writing songs like Ego, Irreplaceable, I just talked about that, Neo, and most of her songs on her first album and on Destiny's Child album. She didn't write those songs as she proclaimed to get my paper and pen and write us out all those lies. That wasn't her. They wanted Beyonce to appear, who cares? Well, that's it with this edition. Let me know your thoughts below on that note. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and like, and hit that bell so you get notifications when I do post more videos. Love you all. See you all later. Bye. Whew.